Ladies and gentlemen, how you folks doing? Welcome here. Welcome to the very start of the Unnamed Wrestling Review. I got myself Botch Guy and I got CWrestling with me here today. Welcome to the stream, guys. How you guys doing?
I'm doing really good, Matt. Nice to have me here, and nice to have you guys here and CWrestling and everybody. It's gonna be great.
Get those dang glasses off your face, all right? This ain't no club. This is a stream. This is a professional area over here, all right? You need to take this seriously, Botch Guy. Otherwise, I'm kicking you out.
Do it. Try. I dare you.
Oh, dude. Well, we also got CWrestling. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm looking forward to this. Could be a lot of fun.
I think this is the first time we've ever spoke as well, right?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Dude, we're making history over here on the channel. The Unnamed Wrestling Review. First and foremost, what the frick is with our name, okay? We need a better name than that.
We could be like the next Retribution faction. Like, literally, we could just be called The Unnamed.
Wait,
The
so does
Unnamed.
that mean
Yeah.
we're gonna be on TV for a couple of months and then break up after?
Exactly, you got it. Yeah, this thing has only lasted for a few months.
We get to petrol bomb a generator, so we're happy, you know.
Love to see it. All right, guys. But today, the people in the live chat are probably wondering, what the heck is this all about here? It's simple, all right? We're going to be reviewing Raw, Smackdown, and NXT, all those WWE brands. We're not going to review the other stuff because things have happened. But let's start it off here, Botch Guy and CWrestling. We had Throwback Smackdown last week. It was a pretty interesting show. First and foremost, what did you think overall about the Throwback CWrestling? What did you think about how it was?
I loved it. I think nostalgia always wins. We know why they did it. You know, it was a Fox thing that they wanted them to do it. And I think just going back through time and just looking through things like the Eddie Guerrero moment, for example, just stuff you don't see every day and just kindle those memories. It's always fun.
It was a fun time. Botch Guy, what did you think about it?
I thought it was a good show. I quite enjoyed it all the way from the beginning to the end. I was surprised they didn't have any more like big, massive legend returns, but I guess that's a good thing, man, because we've seen so many shows that had like bring back legends, and those shows usually actually aren't that good, to be completely honest. I like kind of the memories that they showed through the trailers, and I thought it was a very balanced show. I thought it was a pretty fun event to watch for sure.
You just said that there was no legends that returned. How about Teddy Long, the player? I loved it.
Holla.
I loved it. I marked out so hard for him. It was like my childhood coming right back on the screen. It was an awesome time. But I guess that should transition here to the very first thing that happened over on SmackDown. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, a WrestleMania rematch. It was really good. Cesaro had to defeat Seth Rollins to become the #1 contender for the Universal Championship. But CWrestling, what's your takes on this match? What did you like from it? Let me know.
I liked it. I loved the match at Mania and I loved the match on SmackDown. These two have got great chemistry, and the fact they're pushing Cesaro, it's just gold. Absolute gold.
Do you think he has a chance at winning that Universal title?
Do you know what? Yeah, I do.
Botch Guy, what do you think about that?
I think there's no chance he wins that title. To be completely honest, I know I'm a big fan of like creating new stars, like they did it with Drew McIntyre, really helped. But Roman Reigns is he is so good right now, and he just got a new theme, and it sounds like a final boss theme, and so I feel like it would be a little bit of a disservice to him to kind of lose that title right now. I feel like it's too hot of a program right now, and he is so good right now. Like, guys in chat, like, how good is Roman Reigns right now? Honestly,
Thumbs
so
up, thumbs down, fist emoji. Your guys' thoughts here in the live chat. But yeah, Roman Reigns, incredible. That new theme song, I guess that's one thing we can really talk about right now. We'll jump ahead to it. The new theme song for Roman Reigns, it was so good. It hit the mark, and it actually had, for people who did not notice, it had a little bit of his old theme song, the Shield vibe with it, mixed in with obviously the new rendition of the theme song. So it was an excellent take on it. And just like also the image of him coming out, like the big dog, whatever they want to say, the head of the table, just a really cool way to present Roman Reigns right now. I'm a big fan of it. But in that match, Cesaro did defeat Seth Rollins, and Cesaro is the #1 contender for the Universal Championship. So he's going to get a shot at that title this Sunday at WrestleMania Backlash. The next match that we had over on SmackDown, Carmella defeating Ruby Riot. What do you guys think about that one? What do you think about Carmella, CWrestling?
I like her. It's all right. I'm just pleased it wasn't Liv that she beat. Bit biased.
Yeah, I live biased over there a little bit, just a little bit. CWrestling, you know. I'm not gonna dig into you too much, but Botch Guy, what do you think about Carmella? Was this the right call here?
Well, I think Carmella is just a character, just itself. I think she's improved immensely over the years now. And since she came to with this new gimmick, I originally thought it was kind of a ridiculous gimmick, but she's really made it into her own. I think she's been doing a very good job. I still kind of crack up during the entrance because I always feel like she's facing the other direction when she has her entrance.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when it pops up, she's staring at it. I was like, oh, okay. And
You're right.
I don't know. I'm actually guys, I'm think I'm becoming a Carmella fan, like a legitimate Carmella fan. I'm quite enjoying her recently.
Yeah, hop on board, Botch Guy. Hop on the sip train over here.
Carmella, money.
Yo, dude, you love to see it. You love to see it. How about the people here in the live chat? Are you guys Carmella fans? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. But then the next thing that happened over on SmackDown is the SmackDown Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, and Bayley got into a little bit of a brawl. So obviously this is continuing their feud moving forward. Overall thoughts on the feud, Botch Guy?
Sorry. I was staring. If you guys look at my camera right now and you look at the right there, I'm staring at Botchy staring through the camera. Do you guys see him? It's like, I didn't even hear what you said. I'll be honest.
All right, CWrestling, let's skip Botch Guy then. Let's go to you. How about you? What do you think about this whole feud between Bianca Belair and Bayley?
I like it. I think it's like a run up the ladder for Bianca. You know, she's beat Sasha. Now she's going to beat Bayley. They're basically proving her dominance, and I'm fine with that. They're making a new star.
Yeah.
Good.
I love to see it. Love to see it. And Bayley's been incredible over on SmackDown as well. That just her being in this feud has elevated Bianca Belair. It's a perfect next step feud after Sasha Banks. Botch Guy, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't think I need to add any more to it. I pretty much agree exactly what CWrestling said. Spot on.
Beautiful. All right, we got Dominic Mysterio defeating Dolph Ziggler. This was actually supposed to be Rey Mysterio versus Dolph, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one changed right at the last moment. Then Dominic standing up for his father and wants to prove himself. So what do you think about Dom and Rey as a tag team? CWrestling?
I think it's okay. I just hope it ends with them sort of breaking up and Dominic taking out his dad.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's dive into that a little bit there. Ooh. So you're suspecting a potential heel turn for Dominic. Anything that leads you to believe that?
They trademarked the name Prince Mysterio, and
spoilers.
I love the idea of him sort of taking the mask off Rey and putting it on himself. You know, just not even just getting himself.
So good.
Yeah.
Bow down to the master theorist over here. Whoa,
that's why he's the theory god, baby.
I want that now. If that doesn't happen, WWE needs to hire you as a writer. That's so good.
It's just the best way to write Rey off of TV for good. And, you know, you set up Dominic to basically be Prince Mysterio. Perfect.
Oh, my God. I actually love that. That is the best storyline that I've heard in ever. I don't know. I just love that. I love that you're on the train though for Dominic as a heel as well. I thought back in the day he was going to align himself with Seth Rollins and join as a disciple, but that obviously didn't end up happening. And that's a much better way to make him a more effective character long term. I like that. Botch Guy, you like that as well?
And if you guys don't know, Theory God over there, CWrestling, you better subscribe to that guy because there's no one that comes up with theories better than him. Like seriously, he is that good. And honestly, he's a super cool cat as well, just like obviously Conman over here. And he did pay me to say that, by the way.
Look at Botch Guy putting me over on my own channel. I appreciate it. But yeah, absolutely. Drop that sub, though, guys.
Like CWrestling, this guy is super chill, man. And I know a lot of people, his channel's blowing up. Like actually, it's really nice to see every channel in here. Like we're all together. We're all kind of blowing up at the same time, which is kind of nice to see, right? The wrestling community getting together.
You'd love to see it, and it's been a natural development of this friendship between the three of us, and I'm just glad that we're able to go live here and talk together, you know? Really, really excited to be live with you guys. But if you would like to, the people in the live chat, you can click on their links down in the description below and head on over to their channels and drop that subscription. We had Tamina defeating Reginald. by disqualification on SmackDown. Intergender match. We've been seeing Reginald compete in a few more intergender matches. What's your guys' overall thoughts? Start with CWrestling.
Yeah, it's okay. Something different. I just hope they do something different eventually. Don't keep doing the same thing where he just does flips and, it gets boring after a while. We've seen that already. Yeah. I don't mind them doing it occasionally, but change it up a little bit.
Because Reginald's obviously a unique talent. He can flip around like you were just saying, but we haven't seen too much else from him. If you were trying to get into the next step of his character, Botch Guy, any ideas for how you would progress Reginald forward?
I will say this: CWrestling should trademark the saying, "Yeah, it's okay." He said it like 6 times already so far.
Yeah, so it's okay. T-shirt.
That.
T-shirt.
Reginald's an interesting cat, right? Because like he obviously has talent. You've seen enough talent from him. I know he does a lot of the flippy stuff, like Young Buck style. But like I will say this: I want to see him in a legitimate match, in a legitimate feud with a legitimate competitor, and see if this is just kind of spot fest, or does he have some technical ability towards his game. That's what I would love to see. And I'm really curious, Con, if I may ask you, I'm curious, do you think he has a future as a singles competitor, or maybe even a tag team competitor in the future if they give him a legitimate shot?
Absolutely. He's got all the talent in the world. I just haven't really seen too much of a match from him. He kind of flips around like CWrestling was saying, and we need to see a little bit more that way. If he can actually truly sell, if he can put together a story, for like 15 minutes or something like that. I'd actually like to see him get a run over on 205 Live once his run on either Raw or SmackDown with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler is done. I think that would be a good way to introduce him, and then maybe get him going up against Kushida down in NXT for the NXT Cruiserweight title. I think that would be a cool way to progress his career forward if they want to keep the title on Kushida for a while. But yeah, I think he's got all the talent in the world. But that is Reginald that we were talking there. Right after that happened, there was actually a beatdown, though, from Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax on Tamina and Natalya. Do you guys like this feud with Tamina and Natalya versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax? CWrestling?
No, it should be the Riot Squad.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Botch Guy?
Nia Jax and Shayna. I want Shayna Baszler to turn on Nia Jax like 10 years ago. Like, I don't like seeing them together. I like the idea when it first started. I thought it was kind of a cute idea, but I can't handle them together anymore. And I just want it to split up. And I know, you mentioned Riot Squad and stuff like that. I do agree with that. It would be nice to see. But like at the same time, I think the bigger problem is just having these two, I guess, dominant females just not being that entertaining, to be completely honest. And it has nothing to do with Nia Jax and her, issues with her botches and what she's saying. I just feel like they're not I'm not getting entertainment from watching them. It's WWE entertainment, right? Like, I'm not entertained anymore. And I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority in this.
No, I don't think you are. I think a lot of people are getting bored of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And it's not just because of their characters that they're heels and they're just dominant people. It's because they're being posted across the shows, like all the shows. It seems like they were on NXT not too long ago. They're always on SmackDown and Raw. And it can just get a little much at times. Now, I must say, I got to give credit where credit is due, because WWE at least is putting the women's tag team champions out there. They're trying to make something of the titles, and they're not just throwing them away for no reason. But sometimes it comes at the expense of, like, the Raw Women's Champion or the SmackDown Women's Champion. And that right there is the biggest problem, I think, with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler's run. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. All right, so let's continue on here. We got ourselves King Corbin, Apollo Crews, Sami Zayn, Otis, and Chad Gable going up against, I don't have their names, so the other 5. But it was a bunch of faces, a bunch of heels, and it was that team that I mentioned there with Corbin, Crews, Zayn, Otis, and Gable winning the 10-man tag team match. This was a lot of fun, guys. Not much to say about it, but a lot of characters in there. They all got their stuff in. Pretty solid. Either of you got anything to say?
Yeah, I don't know why they had King Corbin win it.
Okay. All right.
He's the only one in that entire match that isn't in a feud. It makes no sense.
That's true. That is true. Do you think it's to try to present Corbin as a strong force still, even though he doesn't have a feud going on?
Could be.
Botch Guy?
I wouldn't mind seeing him go back. I don't know, go back to the lone wolf gimmick, but at least transition out of the whole King Corbin gimmick. It's wearing on me already. There's a lot of little things that are wearing on me. I feel like could be better if they transition, because at the end of the day, it's important to kind of read the mindset of fans, of wrestling fans. And Baron Corbin, I know he's never been a fan favorite, but people always respected his heel work, right? Like I don't know anybody that doesn't like says like he's not a good heel. Like he is a good heel. He knows the mannerisms and he has a good moveset. The problem is a lot of people thought he's kind of boring. And with this King Corbin gimmick now, I think he's even more boring. And I kind of want him to go back to be less boring or maybe come up with something different. I don't know, but I don't know. It's always been kind of the problem with Corbin, but he is underrated as a heel, like as a legitimate heel. He is.
Absolutely. I agree with that. CWrestling, anything to add on to that?
No, I think you covered everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Baron Corbin, excellent heel, but need to find something more entertaining for him. I think the guy could be money in a faction, like find a way to create a cool faction with Corbin in some way. I think he would be money in there. But then the last thing that we really have to talk about tonight, which we have not mentioned at all yet, I glossed over it at the very start, Jimmy Uso returning on SmackDown. That was awesome. It was great to see Jimmy Uso. And then, of course, Jimmy and Jay, the whole, are they going to be a tag team again? Take it away, CWrestling. What do you think about Jimmy Uso coming back into the storyline?
That's exactly why I think Cesaro has a chance to win the Universal title. Ooh. I think it's possible Jimmy does something and distracts Roman or something and start that split. Now, I don't know whether they'll give Cesaro the belt, but there's a chance. And I think for that chance, that's what's investing me in Backlash, because it's not just as straightforward as Roman's going to kill a guy and that's it. It's simply
WrestleMania Backlash. Okay.
WrestleMania Backlash. Yeah.
Oh, good God.
That's exactly why. And I think it's brilliant they brought him back when they did. And the way they did it was perfect. Doing it throughout the night, building up the story. Brilliant. It
was excellent. And they're also reintroducing one of the best damn tag teams in the world in the Usos. And they did a wonderful way of trying to get back to that. And I mean, we're not even sure if that's going to be the way they go, right? Of course, he did come in and save his brother at the end, but is there more issues between the Usos? We'll find out in the coming weeks. But overall, that was a really fun episode of SmackDown. I think that the throwback stuff was slightly just thrown in, right? There wasn't really anything more to it other than a couple, ratings boosters. It really wasn't anything more than that. But overall, I thought it was a fairly fun show. And I think you guys both enjoyed it overall, right?
Yeah.
Yes. 100%. I have a comment to make on the Jimmy Uso storyline. I'm raising my hand like I'm being polite. Let's see. Honestly, I feel like CWrestling has the right point. If they are going to do a turn here, a Cesaro win at WrestleMania Backlash, stupidest name. I will say this: like if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be both Jimmy and Jay teaming up, turning on Roman Reigns. And I maybe even something. I know this sounds really ridiculous, but maybe even Paul Heyman turning on Reigns too somehow, and having him manage the Usos would be kind of fun.
That'd be a different thing, yeah.
Something different, because again, you don't need Paul Heyman with Roman anymore. He's just so, in my opinion, I think he's like, it doesn't hurt that he has him, but I feel like he would be fine without him as well.
I'm really sorry to jump in there, but go ahead. No, continue.
No. That being said, Roman Reigns is like it. Like he is the pinnacle of wrestling right now. I haven't felt this way towards a wrestler where I feel like he should not lose. Honestly, since kind of like even like Brock Lesnar when he was dominating everybody back in the day. I feel like this is a guy that if he is going to lose, if you're going to have Roman Reigns lose the title. You can lose a match, DQ, whatever. Lose the title. I feel like it has to be done at WrestleMania. I feel like this is a guy, or at least a massive pay-per-view, like a Royal Rumble or something.
SummerSlam.
Something big, SummerSlam. Like it cannot be WrestleMania Backlash, right? I don't feel like that's the right place for it. Now you have to think about the wrinkle that a lot of people are thinking about. Probably not going to happen, but does The Rock have any sort of storyline in this in the future? Because, when the fans do come back, WrestleMania next year, I think there's just the easiest story in history.
When is WrestleMania Hollywood again? Is that this upcoming or is it the next one?
Oh my God.
Do we know? Is it
the next one?
I think it's the one after, isn't it?
Okay, so this year coming up, is it Texas and then it goes to Hollywood? 2023 is WrestleMania Hollywood. Okay, so the next one. So not the upcoming one, the one after. It's too bad because if it was WrestleMania Hollywood coming up, that I would say keep the title on Reigns all the way till that.
Yeah.
And then you do Rock versus Roman at Mania. That would be incredible. Like,
Dallas is next. Have Stone Cold come back. Oh, Stone
Jesus!
Cold.
Don't tempt us, Botch Guy.
He's gonna walk to the ring like this and like hurt his neck again because just from walking to the ring, he's so old now. But I'm a big fan of Stone Cold, but I don't think he should ever wrestle. I don't know why I just mentioned that. Just a stupid joke,
All good. I want to touch on something that you brought up as well, Botch Guy. You mentioned something about like Roman Reigns potentially turning on Paul Heyman or them splitting up or Paul Heyman turning on Roman. I really do like the idea of down the line, Roman basically pushing Paul to the side, basically getting so arrogant, so over the top in his own head, saying, I don't even need you anymore, and pushing him to the side at that point. And then who knows, maybe that leads to Paul Heyman aligning with somebody brand new, maybe going to the tag team division with the Usos, like you said, something like that. But I think that would be a really unique thing to see in the future. But yeah, that pretty much covers SmackDown. Any more thoughts on SmackDown before we move on?
Nope.
You know what? I just thought, like, if you have Jimmy and Jay turn on Roman and you have, like, you don't have to have Paul Heyman involved in that turn on that pay-per-view, but on the next SmackDown, then you do a storyline around Paul Heyman, trying to figure it out with Roman, and then have him at the end of SmackDown turn on Roman Reigns somehow. And then it's just like, that would be a legitimate storyline that would continue on with those three guys, and you would have credibility towards the Usos because you have Paul Heyman. I know they already have credibility, but you would add a hell of a lot more if you throw Paul Heyman into the mix. And remember, Paul Heyman could be like, you know what? I was never a Roman Reigns guy anyway. Yeah. I'm a Brock Lesnar guy or something, or you know what I mean? And then that would be fun, man.
Well,
but I need to know, CWrestling, you're the theory god. Does this pass the theory test?
Yeah, 100%. I think if they're going to have Heyman split with Roman, you've got to do the story that Roman, basically the self-destruction of Roman Reigns. You have him, as Conman said, get so cocky to the point where he disregards Paul Heyman, and Heyman just says, fine, I've now got someone else to take you out and trade him in, basically, establish a new star in the process.
Oh, dude, that's you're absolutely right, 100%. But I want to actually, before moving on to Raw here, I do want to float one last thing. Paul Heyman and Cesaro do have history together. Do you think there's anything there?
Ooh, that's right. They do have history. And Paul did say, when was it? I think it was like a month ago. He did mention that Cesaro, like he did mention the fact that they're together, is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. Like back in, about a month ago, and they said he didn't have it or something. And maybe if he beats, it kind of turns on Reigns, he can be like, you have it now.
Was this on Talking Smack? Is that when that was?
I think so. It is a while back, probably about a month ago. Mm-hmm. It was good though. I remember listening to it. Maybe Jack can remember.
Any thoughts on that one?
I don't know. It's not something they've hinted at on SmackDown, so I'd say no, because usually you get like the seeds planted.
Right.
But I don't know. So anything's possible.
It's WWE.
WWE had a person marry a hand.
All right, guys. So we had ourselves a wonderful chat there with SmackDown. I hate to somewhat bring down the mood by mentioning the red brand, but we're going to transition to Monday Night Raw now. Such a step down, isn't it, compared to SmackDown?
Who you want to ask first?
Let's go with Botch Guy. I know you've made a video recently.
I feel like Monday Night Raw has a magnitude of problems, and you know me, I don't like talking too negatively just in general. I want to try to keep a good positive vibe, but like, come on, like Monday Night Raw, it's 3 hours long, which is the obvious one right off the bat. Now, I understand that having a 3-hour show means that more wrestlers get money because that means they're on TV. And that's always nice. I want the wrestlers to get paid because that helps out their families and stuff like that. So that's a huge positive for that. But maintaining 3 hours on a show is tricky. It's not an excuse, but at the same time, like it's not easy to do. And I think it really kind of like drags on. And some people said like maybe it's talent related. I don't think it is.
No,
I don't think it's talent related. Some people said, well, maybe it has something to do with the way they do produce Monday Night Raw over SmackDown. It's more like kind of boring, I guess. Like it's more static. Like I always said this: if you watch SmackDown and you watch Monday Night Raw, you will notice a difference. And the biggest difference you will notice is Monday Night Raw, you have promo, match, backstage promo, match, backstage promo, match, backstage promo. I want you guys to watch next week's Monday Night Raw. And I'm telling you, promo, match, backstage promo into a back and forth.
It's so formulaic. It really is.
It's the same thing every single week.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. They need to mix it up. And if you watch SmackDown, it doesn't do that. And maybe that's because SmackDown is 2 hours.
Yeah.
And they have to throw more important, storyline pieces to do that. But it's just the same thing every single week. So I think they can salvage it. But at the same time, there's no excuse because this is a multi-billion-dollar company, right?
Yeah,
You're
no
telling
excuse.
me you can't find writers that can write, and I know it's hard. Don't get me wrong. I know it's hard. But you are a multi-billion-dollar company. You could have one guy working on this part, and find people that are good, that you can trust. Maybe take some of even the NXT guys, help them out, and fill a show that seems to be more entertaining.
Well, you nailed it right on the head there. Like you've got all the talent in the world to choose from with this multi-billion-dollar corporation here, and I believe they've got like 40 writers for Monday Night Raw. Like the problem is that when you have that many writers, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter how many writers you have if you still got one person at the very top who is making every decision and saying yes or no on every decision. And it's I don't want to blame Vince completely because the guy produces 3 wrestling shows a week in some way, with NXT. I know he's not completely involved with it, but it's still his show. It's a lot of content to get through every single week. But like you said, Botch Guy, there's no excuse. There's really no excuse anymore.
I just feel like it's salvageable. I don't feel like this is the end of the planet for Monday Night Raw, but I feel like they could do something more creative on a weekly basis and do something different, and they choose not to. Maybe it's, I don't know, written in their contracts or something that they have to do it a specific way with the TV deals or something. I don't know, because I am a huge wrestling fan. I want to be entertained and I want to be supportive, and I am like 99% of the time. But with this, what's happening with Monday Night Raw right now, it's not like not all the product. Obviously, there's some great stuff. I like RK Bro, for example. Thought that was creative. I thought that's a good job. But I feel like overall, it's definitely the worst of the two shows. I think that's pretty fair to say.
It's very fair to say. CWrestling, I know you're obviously a big fan of Alexa Bliss and The Fiend and all the stuff that's going on with that, and we are going to transition into that. But I want to hear from somebody who is completely into that stuff. I enjoy it, but like you're really, really into it. And does that make Raw more enjoyable for you, or are you just finding you're sitting around waiting for these segments to come around?
Sometimes a bit of both. Like I sort of see Raw and I sort of think this is what SmackDown used to be. We used to look at SmackDown as the B show, and now it's on Fox. Now it's generating more money. Now SmackDown's the A show, Raw's now the B show. I think we've just seen the switch and we're not used to it. I do think they've got things in place to help Raw. They're sort of bringing people in, like new superstars, new management team, new creative teams. And I think that will help long term. But yeah, you're right. Being a Fiend fan and stuff, you are sitting around just waiting for Fiend or Alexa or the Funhouse or whatever it might be. And it does get a little bit boring when you're watching the same match every week. Yeah.
So like when you're just kind of sitting around, like it's a good thing that you're obviously waiting for that character to come around. but like it shouldn't be the only thing that is getting you to tune in, right? There's got to be some other hooks across the board, especially with a 3-hour show. And I think when Botch Guy brought it up, that SmackDown just is a much better show. It is because of the 2 hours. The pacing is there. Not everything feels exactly the same week in and week out. And you think that a 3-hour show would have more wiggle room, right? They would be willing to try more things. You look down in NXT and you look at the stuff they are doing with Cameron Grimes, and you just kind of wonder, like, where is that on the main roster? Those type of segments. The last time we saw anything similar to that, I want to say, was Street Profits versus Viking Raiders when they did those weird like bowling and sport type of segments. And that was entertaining. Like, sure, it was weird at the time you're watching and you're like, what am I watching? But then you watch it back later and you're like, okay, that was incredibly entertaining. There's definitely things they can do on Raw to make the show feel better across the board. They got the characters. They just got to think outside of the box.
Let me say this. Sorry, C. It's a quick little comment, and this is for you as well. Jinder Mahal's return, right? Like, I am a fan of Jinder Mahal. I want him to be successful, but you threw his return like it was just like he's back, little backstage, like a little thing. Like there was no storyline attached to it. Like, why wouldn't you have a return of Jinder Mahal? I know they're probably still going to do this on the pay-per-view, have him attack Drew McIntyre or whatever. And that's the rumors, I guess people are saying. Who knows? Might happen, might not, right? But like, if you're going to have Jinder Mahal return and making him a credible return, why do you just have him pop up in the backstage thing and have him a random match that he squashes someone? That's boring. That's not good writing. That's very boring writing. You could create storylines for these wrestlers and then have them have legitimate, like not just storylines for a week. I'm talking about storylines for a couple months and have a progression for him and not just having him pop up out of nowhere. Because if his big return was him attacking Drew McIntyre at a pay-per-view with these two people that no one knew. I know they were doing stuff on main event or I think it was main event and their kind of thing. But that's fine. Like not a lot of people don't watch that. So it would still be a surprise. And you have Jinder Mahal come back and have a big impact, right? At least then it's more of a credible impact because you have the obvious storyline with 3MB there, and you just have a nice, beautiful storyline for Jinder Mahal, and without anybody seeing, you get more of a bit of a pop, more of like I'm interested more now with Jinder Mahal. Now, if Jinder Mahal attacks Drew, it's like, oh well, we kind of know what's going to happen. He showed up already on Monday Night Raw, so it lessens the impact. That's where I feel like where the writing it drives me bonkers sometimes. Because like, don't just bring someone back.
Bring him back with a meaning
for him.
Couldn't agree more there, Botch Guy. Bring him back with a meaning. See wrestling. What do you think there?
Why bring him back against Jeff Hardy, who they was also bringing back? Because all the fanfare and hype was for Jeff Hardy, not for Jinder Mahal. And the second you had Jeff Hardy lose, people were like, "Oh yeah, great, thanks." Yeah. And they're more worried about Jeff Hardy losing than Jinder Mahal winning.
Yep.
And you just ruined both of them.
Yeah. It's I hate to use the term dead on arrival, even though like you said, Botch Guy, you're a fan of him. I'm a fan of Jinder Mahal as well. I hate to use the term dead on arrival, but that couldn't have been any more bland of a debut of a faction. Like I was saying on the live stream, even something as simple as Jeff Hardy scoring a surprise roll-up over Jinder Mahal and then have the two big guys come in the ring and beat down Jeff Hardy. Credibility on Jeff Hardy. He gets the win over Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal gets the heat on him from the guys beating up Jeff Hardy. It's booking 101, and they just went with just the most bland option possible. Jeff Hardy losing clean to Jinder Mahal. There was really nothing there.
Sorry, Con. They called him the modern day Maharaja. It's the same character.
Exact same.
Nothing's different. They just added two people attached to him, and he could have came back with a new entrance theme, a new graphics, new style, new everything. And then instead of the modern day Maharaja, call him the pastime premiere. I don't know, whatever.
Pastime premiere.
I don't know. Just think of something different.
Jinder, the pastime premiere, Mahal.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Just think of something more creative than the same gimmick. Everything's.
Please think of something more creative than pastime premiere as well.
Hashtag. I think this is a good time to plug my Twitter, actually.
Get her.
So if you guys don't know, unfortunately, I'm on Twitter now. I actually just dropped the link in chat. If you guys want to support me, like I would really appreciate if you guys all go over there and follow me on Twitter. And maybe drop a hashtag premiere. What was it?
Pastime premiere.
Hashtag pastime premiere over there. Okay. Because that would be nice of you guys. And I gotta thank Mr. CWrestling here and Conman. They're kind of like my muscle, my backup here on Twitter. Because I know how crazy it could be over there, and I do get a lot of anxiety and stress when it comes to going into the social media world a little bit more. So the fact that they've been so supportive with me so far, I'm very thankful towards them. So thank you so much, Conman and CWrestling, for all the support, buddy.
Hashtag pastime premiere.
I guess as we mentioned, it's Botch_Guy.
Yeah,
so
Botch_Guy there on Twitter. And CWrestling, do you have something you would like to plug? Your Twitter right now?
Yeah, you can plug my Twitter at CWrestling UK. Just follow me if you want to.
Beautiful.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Pastime hashtag CWrestling premiere.
And we'll definitely get around to your guys.
Go to CWrestling. And then Conman too.
Yeah, Conman167. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. There we go.
Follow Conman as well. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get around to some videos because these guys got some exciting content coming out for you guys over on their channels. Once again, make sure you drop the subscription on their channels as well. But back over to Monday Night Raw. So the match that we started off with was Asuka, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke defeating Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler with a very weird finish. We saw Alexa Bliss come out in the middle of the match, her swinging chair with Lily by her side. CWrestling, did Lily do that to Shayna Baszler?
I actually genuinely thought we'd get an Alexa's Playground during Raw to explain what happened. I expected her to sort of be on the swing and just sort of say, did you see what happened to Shayna? You know, nothing. And when we get nothing, it's like, oh, it does leave you wanting that more. And I like the fact they leave things unanswered in this story, but things like that need to be explained.
Yes.
Because next week, a lot of people won't remember how that match finished.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose a lot of fans from just doing that simple thing and not answering it on Raw that very week. And that's why I thought it was the starting match. I don't know.
Hey, you know what? That's a great point right there. You don't want to leave questions unanswered when they're not major talking points. You want to answer them in the show, right? People are sitting there for 3 hours. You need to deliver some sort of answers, and that would have been a wonderful one to have answered that it was Lily who made her do that, or Lily that did that, or whatever. I know we're bringing magic into the world of wrestling. We have been doing a little bit more magic with the Fiend storyline and all that. Do you guys like the direction with the magic? Let's start with Botch Guy.
Oh yeah, I'm always okay with supernatural stuff going on in wrestling. I've always been a fan of the supernatural stuff. That's why maybe that's one of the reasons Undertaker was so popular. Is he did a lot of supernatural stuff, and the Fiend. Why the Fiend was so popular, and I still think he is popular. Some people are upset on what they've been doing with him recently, and some people are not. And I feel like the magic actually does bring out something kind of enjoyable. Now, with the whole Alexa Bliss, the Fiend storyline, my God, we could talk about this for hours on what they're doing here. But at the end of the day, I feel it's important that you need to elevate Alexa Bliss. You need to elevate the Fiend. You need to elevate the people that they're going to be going against as well. And I think it's very tricky writing, and that's why I really think CWrestling, like who's the god of this type of content, like the Fiend and stuff like that. I'm really curious the Fiend God. I'm really curious what he thinks. Maybe not too detailed because it'll be like an hour speech, but I'm really curious what he thinks. What's Alexa Bliss gonna do now moving forward? Like her, she has the Super Saiyan gimmick, right? Like that's kind of like, I think it's a little too overpowered if she goes and uses that against the Divas or the women's division. I don't know. I'm curious. CWrestling. What do you think? What's next for Alexa Bliss here?
I think you're going to see her very much mirror the Fiend and the way the Fiend sort of debuted and just basically run roughshod over everyone. There'll be times when she loses. It's wrestling, and that's the beauty of the story. And it's all about the story, not the matches, not the championships, not the wins, not the losses, the story. And I think there's a place for this magic stuff in wrestling. We get so many different elements to wrestling. You get the sports side with the actual wrestling, And then you get the comedy with people like R-Truth. You get the romance angles. If you get a genre of something, it's in wrestling. Mm-hmm. And horror is just as big as anything else. And that's what I always try to say to people is, if you don't enjoy something like that, it's fine, because usually it's on screen for about 5 minutes in a 3-hour show. Mm-hmm. So, you can enjoy hopefully the rest of Raw and just not that element of it. And it's such a, for me as a horror fan and, the sci-fi supernatural stuff, it's so refreshing to see something done so well. And it is almost like you're watching a movie if you go back and watch like the original Funhouses, it's like watching a movie, watching a story develop from the start to the middle and the end. And it's perfect.
It's really been an amazing thing to see develop. One of the most captivating things WWE has done. We can't deny that. We've talked about it for since SummerSlam 2019, right? This story's been going on. So it's cool to see that WWE is trying something outside of the box. We had been begging for that for a while. This is about as out of the box as you can get. It's very, very different, and I like it because it is different. I'm gonna go just a slight different way here. I do like Magic as long as it feels like it makes sense to me. When I was watching that, I didn't like that I was asking the question, did Shayna Baszler get hurt? Is this a worked injury? And my mind didn't even go to Lily and Alexa Bliss until people were speaking about it on Twitter afterwards. So if they're going to go into that direction, I'd like you said, maybe Alexa's Playground later on in the show explaining that she did something. It was one of those unanswered questions that I wasn't a fan of, but I'm still a fan of the fact that we are seeing supernatural elements in wrestling. Again, Undertaker's one of the biggest stars of all time for a reason, right? I think that people enjoy it. They just want to crap on it because they got nothing else better to do right now.
I always say, look, whether you like it, whether you hate it, no matter who your favorite content creator, news reporter, whatever it might be, they're still talking about it. Mm-hmm. And if you're liking something or hating something, I can tell you Vince McMahon's rubbing his back pocket because that wallet's bulging.
Dude, great point. Point.
Which quickly mention Aleister Black, right? What's gonna happen there?
Take it away, Mr. Theory Man. What do you think?
Theory God? What do you got?
That one's blown my mind because I didn't see that coming at all. I love this element of Dark Father and what's he going to be, and is it going to be a physical representation of someone? No idea at all.
If you're a betting man, would you say it's going to be a physical representation of someone?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm really hoping they have Undertaker just sort of give him the nod, just to sort of say, I'm passing the torch to you.
Whoa!
That's the kind of thing I just, not a match, nothing like that. Just simply have him appear in the background in that crypt and have him just put his hand on his shoulder and just say, it's yours now. Just that one moment. You've solidified Aleister Black. And why not? You're not going to use Undertaker anymore, so why not?
Oh, I love it. Botch Guy, I see your hand going side to side. What you thinking there, Botch Guy?
CWrestling, I love you, man. I love you. I don't think Aleister Black is established enough to get a rub from Undertaker quite yet. I want to see him have more supernatural stuff and get really established as a legitimate threat, like a legitimate, oh my God, who is this demonic? And then potentially do the rub with Undertaker in the crypter thing. I just want to, I feel like maybe it's too soon to do that with him. I know it'll give him instant credibility, but I feel like you need to establish someone a little bit first. I think it's maybe too premature. What do you think, Steve?
I disagree, only because of the story. The story is that he's learned everything from the Dark Father. If you're introducing Aleister or reintroducing Aleister Black, and you're telling the fans that he's now learned everything from the Undertaker, boom.
I'm right there with you, C. That's an amazing story.
Let me say this, C. If that's the case, I feel like the book that he should have been reading would be called, I don't know, The Crypt of the Undertaker.
But then he gives away on
something. No, you don't have to. That's not given away. At least you could still. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the idea of Undertaker being what's it called? The father. What is it again?
The Dark Father.
The Dark Father. Yeah, I like the idea of that because that fits right in with his entire career as well. Like, if they're going in that direction there with Undertaker and Aleister Black, instant credibility, and we've already seen that using Sting over in the other company. It can build up credibility of a superstar, and actually eventually a superstar can overtake that person because they become a bigger star as a result. I like that combination idea.
That's a
of
good
Undertaker
poll question.
And Black. What's that?
It's a good poll question.
Good poll question.
Maybe we can word it like, should Aleister Black be, I don't know, hinted, or I don't know what like teased with the Undertaker? I don't know. Like,
should Aleister Black be partnered with the Undertaker? Here, let's ask people here in the live chat. Let's just do it that way. Thumbs up, thumbs down, fist emoji to the idea of Undertaker being partnered in some way, shape, or form, or passing the torch to Aleister Black. What do you guys think of the live chat?
There you go. Should Aleister Black, or should the Undertaker pass the torch to Aleister Black?
There we go. Cool. Thumbs up, thumbs down, fist emoji in the live chat. But let's get back here to Monday Night Raw again, with RK Bro and the New Day defeating AJ Styles, Omos, Elias, and Jackson Ryker in an 8-man tag team match. I personally, guys, I did not think that this match was very smooth. I thought that with the amount of talent that was in there, this should have been a lot better of a matchup. The ending was really cool, obviously, with Randy Orton hitting the RKO on Kofi Kingston, his longtime rival, and Xavier Woods. But what did you think about the actual whole match here? CWrestling?
Hated it. Like, just exactly like you said. I don't understand how you can continually use Elias like he's just nothing. I think the guy's got so much talent.
Yeah.
And you just don't do anything with him. This whole rotten tomato storyline, it's just boring. It's really just boring.
Botch Guy, you like the Rotten Tomatoes, right?
They're not even rotten tomatoes. They're perfectly fresh tomatoes. Did you guys not notice this?
They're pre-sliced.
Did you catch that? That doesn't exist anymore.
I did.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. So my last one, but I'll say this. I like that. I like the throwing of the tomato, the original one. Like when they were in the ring, I thought it was kind of funny. To be honest, I thought it was funny. But now, as they're pushing the tomato, they're overripening the tomato storyline. I feel like this, it would be funner as a one-off gag, not like turn it into a full-blown tomato situation here. So
100% agree.
Like, I don't know. I think it's okay, but not if they overdo it. I think they're overdoing it.
Yeah, I mean, when they brought the Rotten Tomatoes out there with Damian Priest, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston for the first time, I thought that was, it was what it was. They threw the tomatoes, got a little chuckle out of it, moved past it. It was only for 30 seconds. But you're right. Once they started dragging this out, it's like anytime WWE does anything on TV, they're like, all right, another 8 weeks of it. Here we go. It's not a thing that needed to be more than just a one-off gag. It really wasn't. So that was a little weird. Okay. Before we continue on, though, I do want to give a shout out to Shane the Gamer. I thanked him in the live chat, but thank you, buddy, for your $11 donation. I think it was. Yes, $11 donation. No comment attached to it. If you guys do want your comments highlighted, that is a way to get your comments read out by us here on the show.
I see his comment.
Where was his comment?
Says Conman is amazing and he has a nice hat.
For a second there, I thought you said has a nice ass. I'm like, what? Okay, all right.
That too.
My hole. So that was weird. Just ignore that. We got Sheamus defeating Humberto Carrillo via ref stoppage. Actually, I'm not even sure if this was. I think WWE's got this wrong here. I think this was actually a no contest, if I'm remembering what the announcer.
No, they awarded it to Sheamus.
They did? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Sheamus there defeats Humberto Carrillo. The talking point of this one is obviously the awkward landing of Humberto. Botch Guy, I'm going to direct this over to you since this is your expertise.
Yeah, so it was a sunset flip power bomb onto the outside. There's no confirmed reports still if it's like a leg injury or if it's a collarbone or what the injury is as of what I've read. I know maybe there's something new today, but as of what I've read from yesterday, there wasn't no new confirmed reports. Humberto did tweet about it and basically said it's the first time I ever had to not be able to finish the match in my career, and it's tough, but he's going to come back and, you know, take on Sheamus again in the future. As for seriousness, again, we're not, some people are reporting it's not as serious while other people are. So again, it's, no one really knows, I guess, until we get an official report. As for the actual injury itself, what I saw is the weight of Sheamus. He didn't get the proper, I guess, the momentum, and he kind of crashed down. And I think it might be his back more than his legs, to be honest. Maybe that area. I don't know. It didn't look good. And immediately when I saw Humberto start going like this to the camera guy, and it was towards the camera, but he was obviously talking to someone, some producer or something in the background. I knew it was serious, and the referee did such an amazing job stopping that match right away. And so huge credit to him as well. So just a terrible situation. I hope Humberto is going to be okay. One of the scarier botches I've seen recently. And like botches are like, there's scary botches. There's funny botches, right? Like, I don't think that's a botch where you make fun of. That's more like a, oh, let's be concerned. While Mandy Rose slipping at WrestleMania, you can kind of make fun of that because she makes fun of it, right?
Yeah.
So I feel bad for Humberto, and I hope he's going to be okay.
Yeah. Humberto was obviously a very scary landing right there. I wasn't sure if it was like maybe his hamstring or something like that. But like what I've got over here on Twitter is from John Alba. According to PW Insider, reports are that Humberto Carrillo is okay. But that's the latest update there. There's really nothing else to it. He's probably sore. He's probably incredibly sore, and it hurt, and he's going to need to put some ice on it or something like that. But it seems like he's going to be okay, which is good news there. Very, very scary incident. CWrestling, what did you think about this match between Sheamus and Humberto? Because it was going really well up until that ending right there.
The match was good. I hope he's okay. And it's a shame because obviously he's only just come back to TV and seemingly got a little bit of a mini push. So hopefully this doesn't stop that if he is out for a few weeks. But just hope he's okay.
Fingers crossed for that. I had a feeling like he was maybe going to enter into a bit of a feud with Mansoor there after slightly costing him his undefeated streak. I thought maybe that was the direction they're going to go in. But who knows if he's going to be cleared to return anytime soon, or if it was just a freak accident that he thought he was a lot more hurt at. It could have been something like that, and they just weren't really willing to risk him. That's a tough thing to say.
Nailed it.
Yeah, they just didn't want to risk him further in the match, is what I believe at this point. Probably the smart call as well. Let's talk about something that I hated. I truly, truly hated. Shelton Benjamin defeating Cedric Alexander. I cannot comprehend. I had people telling me that, it's just the start of a story. The story's going to tell this. The story's going to tell that. For me, the first thing and the only thing people are going to see is Cedric Alexander in the very first time breaking out as a heel on his own out of the Hurt Business, and he loses. That's all people are going to see. It's all people are going to remember. Sure, maybe down the line he's going to have a fine storyline, but right now losing to a 45, 46-year-old man in Shelton Benjamin when he's up and coming, I cannot comprehend why this happened. CWrestling, start with you. What do you think about this one?
I agree with you. I was on your stream and you said about, Cedric having those rock-like qualities, and it's so true. And the fact they just had him lose, and again, there could be a story to come of this. Is that story that in 3 months' time Cedric finally wins? Yeah. Because you've done that story 100 times at this point, and Cedric doesn't need that story. He just needs good matches and good wins. That's it.
Yeah. He needs to hold himself like he is as good as he thinks he is, which is what The Rock did back in the day, by the way, if people forget about it. He needs to hold himself up to that level, and he needs to follow through with wins. There is no reason for him to be losing to Shelton Benjamin at this point. I love what Shelton has done with his career. I love that he got a win on Monday Night Raw. Should not come at the expense of Cedric Alexander. Botch Guy, what do you think in this one?
Oh man, I don't want to disagree with you guys.
Well, hey,
I do this. Oh my God, Botchies. Oh, hi, Botchy. He's really interested in what I'm about to say as well. Here's what I think the WWE is doing. I think they want Shelton Benjamin to be credible outside of the Hurt Business, so they're having him beat a cocky, overconfident. That's what they've been saying over and all. They kept on mentioning how cocky he is. have him get the first win, and now I'm going to assume, because now they added some credibility to Shelton's name again outside of just the Hurt Business, even though he's been in the company for a long time. I know he's an old guy. At least now he's somewhat credible. Now if Cedric Alexander goes out and destroys, Shelton Benjamin the next 1 match, 2 match, 3 matches, I think they're thinking, well, it kind of elevates both guys. I think that's what they're going with. So it's not that I love the idea of having them lose, so I don't disagree completely. It's just I think that I understand the direction, I guess I should say. Maybe not disagree, but I do understand what they're going with there. I don't know.
Look on paper, I understand that as well. Like, if your goal is to try to elevate both superstars at the same time, that's awesome. I wish WWE would try to do more of that, right? Think back to Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy when they had their feud against each other, elevated both of them at the same time. This is not that case, unfortunately. This is a case of Cedric Alexander has been literally berating Shelton Benjamin for how many months now in the Hurt Business. He's been cocky, he's been in his ear and all this stuff. There comes a time when you're making new stars where you have to present them as being able to get the job done on their own. And it's far too often in WWE do we see people be built up as a heel, built up, and then lose their first match. Yeah. They get the win later on, but they lose their first match. It's like WWE relies on the babyface needing the win early on in the feud. Meanwhile, it can just be a one and done. It doesn't have to be a full feud. This could be a thing that is just a stepping stone to the next thing. And then he tries to become a contender for a title. Like, this is just an easy way to build up Cedric Alexander, and they missed the mark early on. It's a misstep, in my opinion, in the story.
Yeah.
Anything else there, Botch Guy?
I love that we're not agreeing on everything, because that's what makes wrestling and just in general debates fun. Like, people can have different opinions on subjects and be respectful in that manner, and that's what I love. Like, I love this, because there are some things I disagree with you and CWrestling, just like I'm sure there's things that he disagrees with me and you, right? It's absolutely, and it's just like Kevin mentioned that in chat. It's great to have separate opinions, and I think that's really healthy for conversations. And I think if there was less yes man maybe in the WWE, potentially on Monday Night Raw, maybe you could have a better show there as well, right?
Yeah, potentially. I just realized that we've kind of been cruising around really quickly, or not really quickly. We've been cruising for almost an hour at this point, and we're not even done through Raw. So let's quickly go through at this point. So we got ourselves, the next match was Asuka losing to Rhea Ripley. Real quick take here, guys. What do you think? Like it or dislike it?
Liked it.
Botch Guy? Yep, cool. All right. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, there's nothing else to say there. Good, solid match. Want more from Rhea Ripley, though. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah. I'm a big Rhea Ripley fan, and I feel like they need to give her a little bit more love. But yes.
Cool. Damian Priest defeating John Morrison. Once again, what are your thoughts on Damian Priest, guys? Like it? Don't like it?
I thought he had a good match. See?
Match is fine, but I want him out of that feud now. I've had enough of Miz and Morrison versus Damian Priest.
We need to break up. We got to break up Miz, and they're finally teasing it, right? Finally,
yeah.
It's going to happen at WrestleMania Backlash, most likely. But obviously, it looks like obviously now John Morrison is going to be the face in the feud. So
yeah, it looks like it. Hey, Johnny Drip, awesome stuff for him.
Singles run. He needs a singles run.
Yep. We're going to get a lumberjack match between Miz and Priest at Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash, and that was the results of that match right there. They got to pick the stipulation, whoever won. Bobby Lashley defeated Drew McIntyre via disqualification. I bet you both of you saw this thing coming from literally a week away. It was a Monday Night Raw ending, 101, written by Vince McMahon. You know it was. Not much to say about it. What do you think about Braun Strowman getting the rub at the very end, being the guy who was the one who was put over before we went into the final show here?
You mind if I start with this one, Steve?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
It's actually kind of, I gotta give Vince like a lot of credit. Like it's very impressive to make me not care of all three characters in the main event feud as much as he's making. Like I gotta give him credit. Like he made me not care about Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, or Braun Strowman in this feud, which is like not easy to do. I don't know. I am not feeling this feud, not even a little bit. I just get no vibes, zero, zilch. I don't think Braun Strowman is being booked the way he's supposed to be booked. It's the same choo-choo, Braun Strowman. It's kind of boring to me. Drew McIntyre, I'm a big fan. Everybody knows I love Drew, and I think Drew's great. But something about him in this feud, just it doesn't really add up to me. I don't know what it is. I think maybe his intensity is down.
I think he's getting tired in the main event scene, to be quite honest.
Maybe. And then Bobby Lashley, he got it. I'm sorry, it hurt. It hurt him losing the Hurt Business, man. Like the real Hurt Business with Cedric and Shelton. I don't think they should have broken up that crew. So I just don't feel it. And it's the kind of the problem with Monday Night Raw, right? And I don't know, man. I could be in a minority here. Maybe you guys are big fans of this feud, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not
boring. CWrestling, your thoughts?
I love what they're doing with Lashley. I love that they're establishing Lashley. Do you realize, though, in the last 3 weeks of Raw, we have seen this main event in so many different matches. We've seen Lashley versus Drew, Drew versus Braun. Now we've had Lashley versus Drew. And that's just in 3 weeks. Yeah. What is the point in that? Every possible scenario for the pay-per-view main event has happened already.
Yeah.
You've literally just given it to us every week. What's the point?
What's the point?
Oh.
We've seen it. It's like, remember when, what was it, Sasha and Bailey had a match before their big match they were supposed to
right?
have?
Yeah.
And we were like, what? What's going on? Why are they, why?
Like, I'm all for them trying to sell TV, but like, come on. You don't give away your pay-per-view matches just for TV. Oh boy. But yeah, like what a weird ending. I guess they had to try to put Braun Strowman over because everybody believes he's going to get pinned anyways. So they had to try to build him up. But you're right, CWrestling. We've seen literally every single scenario already across Raw for this match. It just doesn't make much sense why it was going down. But yeah, take it away.
I will say though, like you mentioned, Bobby Lashley is getting like a big push in here. I love Bobby Lashley getting a push. I love that he has the title. I love everything about Bobby Lashley. I'm just saying, I feel that him being separated by the Hurt Business, I don't feel like that was the right call. I feel like he was more credible. I guess maybe, I don't know now. I think maybe I'm just upset that it hurts Shelton and Cedric more than Bobby. I think maybe that. I don't know. CWrestling, what's your opinion on the Hurt Business breaking up?
Do you know what? I'm not as upset about it as everyone else is, just because of the elevation of Lashley.
Okay.
Yes, I want Cedric to go and do different things as well, but I think it's the right move to have Lashley win, solo and by himself and not needing help. And that's the go-to storyline when someone's in a faction. So I like that element of it. Just want to throw out there as well. Just imagine if Lashley holds onto that belt until Survivor Series, and so does Roman. Could you imagine?
That's
Lashley
a mega match.
Yeah, versus Roman and Paul Heyman.
And maybe that's why they got rid of Cedric and things, because they're not really needed in that feud. But then it matters, because if then Jimmy and Jay join up with Roman Reigns, and then you have the Hurt Business. Like the original Hurt Business, you could have had Roman Reigns, Jimmy and Jay versus Bobby Lashley, Shelton, and my God, Alexander and Benjamin, right? Like, you had the Hurt Business versus the tribal, the bloodline, the Samoan dynasty, like right in front of you.
My God. Yeah, you're right, guys. You're right. They had some stuff right there in front of them. There's obviously pros and cons to the Hurt Business splitting, and the major con is that we won't get that match. Not at this point, at least. But let's transition quickly over to NXT, where we won't spend too much time on this one. We just saw it last night. It was a really, really entertaining show. I feel personally, I don't know if you guys agree with this, NXT last night was a step down from the previous couple weeks of shows, but that doesn't mean it was a bad show at all. We started off with Karrion Kross defeating Austin Theory in the opening match. Thoughts on Karrion Kross there, CWrestling?
Love him. Absolutely love him. And the way he murdered Austin Theory as well. Perfect.
And Botch Guy, what do you think about Austin Theory?
Can I just talk about Karrion Kross?
No, you're not allowed.
I think Austin Theory is kind of like a fun little character right now. He's kind of bouncing around, kind of Johnny Gargano stuff. Like, I don't know. I just want to talk. Karrion Kross is awesome, man. Like, he is awesome. He is awesome. Everything about him, the presence, the entrance. Like, like Omega star, right? Like if he came out of nowhere and challenged Roman Reigns, like would you be like, no, this is not? No, I would be like, oh, finally someone credible.
Yep, he's got the credibility. He looks like a killer. I think I compared this to him during the live stream, is that he literally looks like a gladiator, and I think that's the direction WWE is trying to go with his overall character, like a modern take on what a gladiator would look like. That's Karrion Kross, in my opinion. But yeah, very, very good stuff from Karrion Kross. And Austin Theory, though, like you mentioned it, he's just kind of flipping around doing some good stuff with Johnny Gargano, but Austin Theory has truly made himself into a character at this point. If we go back to when he got called up to Raw just after WrestleMania, I think not this past one, but the one before that, he was solid in the ring, but there was nothing else to him with that. And now he's all of a sudden a very funny character down in NXT. Would you agree? Would you agree with that there, CWrestling?
100%. I think it proves that WWE need to send more people to NXT instead of just not using people or releasing people. Let them try something else because it works.
Well, talking about trying something else, Breezango is amongst that group that got sent down to NXT, and they're rejuvenating themselves in the tag team division. An excellent match against MSK on NXT last night. Botch Guy, did you see that match? What were your thoughts on it?
I actually missed that match.
Okay.
To be completely honest, I think I was coming back from the dog park.
Gotcha. So, CWrestling, how about you then, man?
It's all about the referee for me. The referee in that match stole the show.
Do you know what he's talking about, Botchy?
Yes,
yeah,
I did see that on Twitter there, and I was so much though. I was actually thinking when I got back, like, dude, maybe I should do a video on the referee. I decided not to, but like still, like that was just amazing. Like, I think it would be better if they didn't have him going down first. I think it would be better if they were like running, like organically ran and kind of got
just leaped it over him.
Yeah, I thought because then it looked.
I loved it though. I loved it. It was so
great.
cool. It was so cool to see, and I'm pretty sure it's actually a callback from a spot like from the 70s or something like that. Like this isn't the first time it's happened either. So they really dug into their wrestling knowledge, which was cool to see. MSK obviously a great looking tag team, but Breezango at the very end of it, after losing their match to MSK, CWrestling, did you see them constantly looking over their shoulder back at MSK on their way out of the ring?
Yeah, there could be a heel turn.
There could be.
So I like that.
Yeah. Would you be down to see a heel Breezango?
Yeah, why not? Try something new with them. Let them be cocky. Let them be arrogant and see what they can do with it.
I'd love to see it. How about you, Botch Guy?
Yeah, instead of astronauts, come out as like Vader. You know, I don't want to get you, no singing allowed.
Copyright struck. Oh man, yeah, but that was an incredible match. I think that's one of my favorite things that happened on NXT last night was that match overall. Just great stuff from both of the teams. The next thing that we had was Pete Dunne defeating Leon Ruff. Again, Leon Ruff coming out of nowhere as this hot, fiery babyface for NXT. Botch Guy, what's your thoughts on Leon Ruff here? Because he looked great against Pete Dunne, but he does continue to lose. What's your thoughts on him?
Well, they're just treating him as your good old fashioned underdog character, even though he won that title. Right? I feel like that's exactly what they're doing with him. They know he's a small guy, so they're just trying to get that underdog kind of feel towards him. And I think he's been doing a pretty good job overall. I don't think he has a character, to be honest. I think he's just like this underdog guy. And overall, I think he's doing fine. Like I don't really have too many passionate opinions one way or another.
Do you agree with that there, CWrestling?
Yeah, I actually totally agree with that. I do like the new style Pete Dunne's delivering though. I think that's really interesting at the moment.
Yeah, agreed. If Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan together, it's too bad Danny Burch did get hurt, but I mean, hey, Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan is still going to be fun to watch. Cruise through NXT, I believe. We got ourselves the NXT Women's Championship match. Raquel Gonzalez defeating Mercedes Martinez. This one was good. Unfortunately, I don't think it was as crisp as I think a lot of people were expecting it to be, and I do think that comes because Raquel Gonzalez is still a little green in the ring. CWrestling, what were your thoughts on this match?
Like you said, it wasn't crisp. I hope that they do more for Raquel as champion to present her better. I just want that match between her and is it Candice LeRae?
Yeah,
Candice LeRae? Yeah. I want her versus Candice LeRae. That's all I want at this point.
It'll be really good if that goes down. How about you there, Botch Guy?
I think CWrestling nailed it. Everything about what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, Raquel is like, she's, I called it when they did that War Games match a while ago that she was going to be a future NXT Women's Champion, and I'm glad that the belt is on her. She seems like a logical step after Io Shirai. I don't know how long she's going to have the belt, though. I feel like WWE might be trying to, or yeah, NXT, WWE will try to put the title on Dakota Kai at some point in the future, but it's going to come at the expense of Raquel, and I think a mega heel turn for Dakota.
I will quickly just say this, like Raquel, like she has a lot of talent. Like she has like the talent to be a very, very good star in this company. You know, she's a little raw still, I think, and that's why she's on NXT, right? But like she's been developed really, really well. Even I believe Eva Riot Girls of Wrestling's in here.
Hey,
Eve, been doing the promotions over there, and I think she has like an immense amount of talent. So I love that she has the title. I love that they're doing stuff with her. But I feel like she does have another level in her, and I think she will reach it. I really do. I think she's a very talented young lady for sure.
I think you're absolutely right. She's got so much talent. But shout out to Eve Riot Girls of Wrestling right there. I'm just scrolling through my Twitter because I believe they have, yes, they do. On August 27th, if you're located in London, you can go to Wrestle Queendom 4 over there, guys. That is going to be August 27th, live show. That looks very exciting. If you haven't watched the first one on YouTube, I highly recommend it. It's a very good show. Wrestle Queendom 4, once again, August 27th. Shout out to EVE Wrestling over there. So we got ourselves a new faction over on NXT. It's been a hot talking point. It's called Hit Row. It's led by Isaiah Swerve Scott, and in the faction are Top Dollar AJ Francis. Is that correct? That's his name. Ashante Adonis, and I forget the girl's name. Fab, something like that. I don't know. Brianna Fab.
I don't know what their names are.
Something like, I don't know. I forget her name. Anyways, the faction's dope as hell. First thoughts on the faction there, CWrestling?
Brilliant. Perfect. They've nailed it. You needed to replace Undisputed Era. Obviously, yes, they're not on that level yet. Undisputed Era is established. But this is a faction that potentially for the next 2 or 3 years could just dominate NXT. And that's exactly what you need.
Absolutely. Brianna Brandy is the name of the girl. So AJ Francis, Ashante Adonis, Brianna Brandy, and Swerve Scott. Botch Guy, your thoughts?
They're awesome. They are absolutely what NXT needed when it comes to replacing the Undisputed Era, I guess, potentially. I honestly, I'm so into this group. I love the name even. That the name is just legit too. So honestly, I feel like it works so well, and all of them have mic skills as well. I feel like this is going to become a fan favorite when the crowd comes back to like the legitimate crowd. Oh my God, I think these guys are going to blow up. So personally, I feel like they did just a great job with them, and I really want to see what they're going to have in moving on, in the future here for these young talents for sure.
Good God, dude, it is so tough to take you seriously.
What do you mean?
Oh, those glasses, dude, looking like a Bret Hart off Wish.com or something like that. I don't know. We got ourselves.
Don't get cancel cultured here. God, what to say?
We got Kyle O'Reilly defeating Oni Lorcan in a rushed match. I hate to say it. It was very, very rushed. It felt like time got cut from their match. But then Bobby Fish returned afterwards to defend Kyle O'Reilly, but they are not going to be reuniting as a tag team. Sounds like Bobby Fish has his own fish to fry, if you will. CWrestling, your thoughts on that one?
I like it. I think they needed to bring him back. Everyone's been wondering, how are you going to bring him back? What's going to happen? I like the idea that they're going to remain friends, and potentially they could team up against One Lorcan and Pete Dunne. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, you've left that open where these are two single stars now, and eventually they could clash. So you've got some stories already made there.
Love to see it. Botch Guy, your thoughts?
I'm happy to see him back, and he looked really credible to me. Mm-hmm. I think it makes sense. There's so many ways they could go here, and I kind of like the way they kind of presented him when he had his big return. Like, this is what I mean. Like, if you're gonna have someone return, like, have something for them, have a nice little storyline attached to it, because it makes you more interested as a whole. And this is what NXT does better than anybody else. Like, anybody, and I mean everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean AEW, I mean WWE stuff. I mean, sorry, that's technically the WWE, but I mean Raw and SmackDown. I feel like NXT builds up returns better than any other company in the world. I truly do. And they do it again. They're making me interested again, even more interested in the story than I was before. It's just good stuff.
Excellent stuff over there, like you just said. The last match of the night was the NXT Cruiserweight Championship being defended between Kushida and Santos Escobar. 2 out of 3 falls match. Freaking incredible match. I don't know about you guys. Match of the night, yes or no?
Yes.
Botch
Yes.
Guy? Yeah? All right. So both of us, all 3 of us agree that it is match of the night. How about you guys in the live chat? Yes or no for the match of the night? But just an incredible back and forth matchup from Kushida, Santos Escobar, the presentation, the way the story was booked, all of that. The way that Santos looked on his entrance with the sombrero, Legado del Fantasma looking like $1,000,000 as well. And Kushida, I know CWrestling, we've had a bit of a conversation, I think in the past. You weren't really on board with Kushida, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was the whole jeans thing, and it just felt like, I always hate when people wrestle in jeans because it makes you feel like they're just not taking it seriously. You know, they're just showing up, having a match, and then going home again. And that's kind of the presentation they delivered with Kushida then as well. So now it's like he's sort of put the tights back on, and he's just magically changed back to the way he was before, entertaining and fun. And how great is it to actually see the Cruiserweight title as the main event?
So good. So good. It's much deserved. It feels like we haven't seen the Cruiserweight title feel this important since Neville held on to the title. That is a long time ago. It's in the main event of NXT, and Santos Escobar, when he came around, man, I wasn't sold on him at the start, but he has really developed in becoming one of the best things going on NXT. In fact, he looks like a complete act ready to go to the main roster. Botch Guy, would you agree? Do you think they're ready to be called up, or do you think they should stay in NXT for some more?
It's not just any theory; it's a jeans theory. Honestly, I think they should kind of stay down there for a little bit longer. I feel like they're just doing great work. The matches have been really entertaining. That match on NXT was so good. I maybe just a few more months of ripening, finish off some of the storylines they have there, and then have them get called up, and maybe do some stuff with the lucha.
So, CWrestling, your thoughts?
I don't think they should call them up. I think, again, keep them in NXT, let them do their thing. And I always have the problem with constantly calling people up and taking people away from NXT, because you devalue, like if you build NXT on people like Adam Cole and you then call him up to Raw, why do you watch NXT? So you constantly take the viewership away, and that doesn't help the show. And I like the fact they're seemingly building the company now around them big stars, and then they've got other stars coming in which do transition to the main roster, and I like that.
Good points. So 2v1, keep them down in NXT, says Botch Guy and CWrestling. But guys, I believe that is everything from the 3 shows over the past week. We ran a little long here today. Moving forward, we're going to try to keep it around 1 hour, but this was the first show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, right? So everybody in the live chat, do me a real solid. Make sure you leave a like on the video, and make sure you subscribe to this channel, Botch Guy's channel, and CWrestling's channel. And now I'm going to pass the floor over to Botch Guy to start things off, and then CWrestling. What do you guys have coming up on your channels?
Well, for my channel specifically, it's just more of the same with Did You Catch That? My reactions, my Botch videos, the usual shebang. But like I did mention a little bit earlier, if you guys could do me the honor of following me on my new Twitter. I just started Twitter a couple days ago, Botch_Guy. If you can head over there and follow that would be amazing. And I do daily poll questions now on there as well. So definitely go check that out. And I have some collaborations coming up as well. So look forward to that. But I do have trivia night tonight. And so if you like live streams, I'm sure Con will probably drop in for a couple seconds, and Steve probably as well. I know he doesn't sleep. The guy's a vampire. Just to let you know, I have trivia night tonight, and it's going to be a very good special edition of it. And it starts season 2 at 7:00 Pacific Standard Time. So 7 PST trivia.
There you go. 10 EST for people who are used to my channel with that. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Botch Guy's channel. And then CWrestling, my man, what do you got coming up? What do you got going on?
Well, I did a theory video on Sunday, and it was looking at Rambling Rabbit and what he means to Bray Wyatt, with the tease being that there is a big secret that Bray Wyatt wants to tell us, and he suppresses. I have an idea what that big secret is, and tomorrow is the theory video. We do a theory video every Sunday, but because it's a pay-per-view, it's moved to Thursday, and it should be a very fun theory. Expect a twist.
Well, there you go, guys. Make sure you go check that out. So yeah, today, guys, that is pretty much going to be the end of it. We've got more content coming up on this channel, obviously. Make sure you also drop that subscription over to Wrestling Hub, which is the other channel that I appear on from time to time, if you guys would like to check that out as well. We'll hopefully be back, the three of us, next week, but in some way, shape, or form, this video, this stream will be here every single week. If we can't get CWrestling and Botch Guy to join us, then we will be taking your guys' live calls, and you'll be a part of the show moving forward as well. But Botch Guys, CWrestling, thank you guys so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun, and I hope we can get to do it again in the future.
Thank you for having me, and everybody leave a like on this video.
Yes, drop that
like.
like.
I second that. Like the video, and this was a lot of fun.
Oh, ton of fun. Great speaking to you for the first time here, CWrestling, and I'm glad that we finally did. I don't know why it took so long, but there we go.
Crazy.
And Botch Guy.
True story. Me and CWrestling, first time we talked, no joke. How many hours? Was that 5 hours? See?
Something like that, yeah.
We were going to talk for a couple seconds. We talked for 5 hours.
Get a room, you two. Good God. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody in the live chat, for watching. Make sure you leave that like they said. Make sure you drop that subscription on all the channels. That's going to do it for us. Take care, everybody. Have yourself a wonderful night. I've been Con. That's Botch Guy. That's CWrestling. And that was the Unnamed Wrestling Review. We need a name. We'll see you guys later.